Welcome to the next iteration in my breakdown of the Baldur's Gate 3 early access classes from levels 1 through 4. Today we will be discussing what you should expect when making a rogue. If your experience here is A+, or hell, even if it's just passing, please consider subscribing and leaving a like. It really helps the YouTube algorithm. Also, feel free to follow me on Twitch, as I'll be allowing chat to determine my playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3 using Larian's Twitch add-on. It's going to be so much fun, guys. All my links are below. Discord, Twitter, Twitch, all that stuff down below. Just to reiterate briefly, I'll be only discussing levels 1 through 4, as that's all the current early access will allow for us. If you want me to branch out beyond those 4 levels, leave a comment below and I'll start putting those together after this series. So the rogue, right? Man, they're so good. It's hard to play a campaign without your trusty and shifty rogue, as they have such great utility, from skulking through the shadows to gain information you wouldn't otherwise have, to being a master of all trades, getting you in and out of situations the rest of your party just weren't qualified to do. Let's listen for a moment to what the player's handbook has to say about the rogue. Signaling for her companions to wait, a halfling creeps forward through the dungeon hall. Presses an ear to the door. Then she pulls out a set of tools and picks the lock in the blink of an eye. And she disappears into the shadows as her fighter friend moves forward to kick the door open. A human lurks in the shadows of an alley, while his accomplice prepares for her part in the ambush. When their target, a notorious slaver, passes the alleyway, the accomplice cries out. The slaver comes to investigate, and the assassin's blade cuts his throat before he can make a sound. Suppressing a giggle, a gnome waggles her finger and magically lifts the key from the guard's belt. In a moment, the keys are in her hand, the cell door is open, and she and her companions are free to make their escape. Rogues rely on skill, stealth, and their foes' vulnerabilities to get the upper hand in any situation. They have a knack for finding the solution to just about any problem, demonstrating a resourcefulness and versatility that is the cornerstone of any successful adventuring party. Skill and precision. Rogues devote as much effort to mastering the use of a variety of skills as they do to perfecting their combat abilities, giving them a broad expertise that few other characters can match. Many rogues focus on stealth and deception, while others refine their skills that help them in a dungeon environment, such as climbing, finding and disarming traps, and opening locks. When it comes to combat, rogues prioritize cunning over brute strength. A rogue would rather make one precise strike, placing it exactly where the attack will hurt the target most, than wear an opponent down with a barrage of attacks. Rogues have an almost supernatural knack for avoiding danger, and a few learn magical tricks to supplement their own abilities. A shady living. Every town and city has its share of rogues. Most of them live up to the worst stereotypes of the class, making a living as burglars, assassins, cut purses, and con artists. Often these scoundrels are organized into the Thieves Guild or crime families. Plenty of rogues operate independently, but even they sometimes recruit apprentices to help them in their scams and heists. A few rogues make an honest living as locksmiths, inventors, or exterminators, which can be a dangerous job in a world where dire rats and were-rats haunt the sewers. As adventurers, rogues fall on both sides of the law. Some are hardened criminals who decide to seek their fortune in treasured horrors, while others take up a life of adventure to escape from the law. Some have learned and perfected their skills with the explicit purpose of infiltrating ancient ruins and hidden crypts in search of treasure. Now, if you watched my previous video about the cleric, I mentioned they would be able to fill all of the 3 major roles depending on how you built them. That would be heals, damage, and tank. Rogues, however, will only manage the damage portion of those 3. With their ability to be proficient in so many skills, they'll fill so many minor roles that you won't know how you could survive without them. Also, as opposed to the cleric, they won't obtain their defining subclass decision until level 3. So let's build our blank slate rogue and find out what our options should look like in character creation. As rogues will be using finesse weapons, dexterity should be your main ability score no matter what. This will also boost your roguey skills like stealth, sleight of hand, and acrobatics. As for secondary stats, however, you need to think ahead a little bit as to how you want to build your character going forward. From what I can tell, the early access subclasses will be Thief and Arcane Trickster. So with Arcane Trickster, you want to lean into intelligence as you'll need it for some spells. But if you want to be a thief, I would say pick the secondary stat that matches the skills you want the most. So charisma if you want to lie with deception, or wisdom if you want to know when others are lying with insight. You can really roleplay the hell out of a rogue, so just think a little bit before you pick exactly which ability scores you're going for. The health of a rogue is rather average, getting to roll a 1d8 and adding their constitution modifier. At level 1 they give you the maximum health, but each consecutive level after that you may need to roll randomly for your health. Your only armor proficiency is with light armor, which allows you to start with the classic rogue standard of leather. So that's a little limiting, but that's understandable. Everyone starts with leather as a rogue in every game. But you do gain a few weapon proficiencies. So you start with proficiencies in all simple weapons, and crossbows, short swords, long swords, and rapiers, or rapiers, depending on who you ask. It sounds like some weird Canadian hockey player, rapier. Keep these proficiencies in mind, for as you find items, you could end up finding a really good weapon in a variety of categories, and a rogue can use a bunch. The starting options they provide you are a choice between a rapier or a short sword. You can pick between one of those two. Then you can pick between a short bow with arrows or a short sword. So in a sense, you could have your melee weapon and your ranged weapon of a short bow, or you can go with dual wielding melee weapons. Every rogue comes standard with 2 daggers and their thieves' tools. Daggers are good to use as ranged weapons as they don't do very much damage compared to your other melee weapons. And just kind of round off the starting equipment aspect, your final option is between 3 different packs. The Burglar's Pack, Dungeoneers, or Explorers. Now, once again, I have no clue if these are going to be in the game, let alone what they'll be used for. I do hope they're included though, because with each pack you get a variety of different items, and I think they could really be clever in how you use them. And finally, here we go. The last part of picking your generic rogue. You get a huge amount of option when it comes to the skills you want to be proficient in. So as a reminder, being proficient in anything will provide your rolls a bonus, as you are considered very skilled in those fields. From levels 1 through 4, that bonus will be a +2 to each check. Now our skill options are acrobatics, athletics, deception, insight, intimidation, investigation, perception, performance, persuasion, sleight of hand, and stealth. Whew, that's a lot. Maybe I should put those up on screen because that's a mouthful. But now you get to pick 4. That's right, 4 of those, you skill monkey. Do you think you're good yet? Oh, just you wait. Just you wait. At level 1, you gain expertise, which allows you to pick 2 of those that you've picked. So 2 of your 4 chosen skills, or 1 of those 4, along with your thieves' tools, and double your proficiency bonus with them. Come on. Oh, so I just want to role play for a second here. Let's say we have some really good dex with our character, and it's sitting at a 19. This would mean we have a dex bonus of 4. Then we pick sleight of hand skill as one of our skills and doubled its proficiency, making that 4 as well. Now, every time we roll a sleight of hand check, whether it's to unlock a chest, take someone's lunch money, or disarm a stinky trap. We'll gain a +8 to each roll. I know what my character is going to be, and I think you do now too. So their level 1 doesn't stop here though, folks. No. I'm going to do the lesser of the 2 remaining abilities first, as it's more of a role-playing mechanic than anything else. So as a rogue, your training has taught you the Thieves' Cant, which is a mixed language consisting of jargon, dialect, and code that only other rogues can understand. So, did you find a mysterious message on an assassin? Let your rogue take a look. Good chance they'll be able to decipher it. So finally here, the last of the level 1 power-ups is here, guys. You get Sneak Attack. No rogue can live without the subtle strikes on unsuspecting victims. So this skill is kind of a mouthful, so I'll display it as I sum it up. Essentially, once per turn, you can deal an extra 1d6 damage if you have advantage on the attack roll, or if another enemy of the target is within 5 feet of it. There are some subtleties to this, but you can read those. Essentially, you can do so much damage. This also goes up with your rogue level. I love it. Just to remind everyone, this is all standard for any rogue, as you don't obtain a subclass until level 3. This is why everyone multi-classes with rogue in D&D, and why you should too if we ever get that chance. Now that we've wiped the sweat from our brow, let's take a look at our level 2 ability, Cunning Action. At first glance, doesn't look like much, but let's take a look at it. As you are agile not only in body but also mind, you can take a bonus action in each turn to either dash, disengage, or hide. This doesn't look like much, right? But let's break it down a little bit. If you're in combat and you don't want to obtain an opportunity attack by running away, disengage, then move. If you're ranged and want to continue to shoot from the shadows, shoot, then take your bonus action and hide. Need to run away in a pinch? Double your movement speed by taking the dash action. So level 2 is also very, very good. And here we are. What you've all been waiting for, our subclass options at level 3. If time permits, I will try to shoehorn Assassin in just in case they include it in early access. If you don't see it here, I'll do it in a later video. Let me know in the comments how you feel rogues will play out in Baldur's Gate 3. Do you think they'll be overpowered at all? Like, this seems crazy to me. And I can't wait to play one. But I want your opinion as well. And just to put this out there, the level 4 benefits you get for both specializations are actually the same. It's also, I think it's probably the same for every class, honestly. It was the same for the cleric. It's the ability score improvement, where you can take either one of your ability scores and raise it by 2, or 2 of your ability scores and raise them by 1 each. Once again, I'm hopeful that they provide the alternative option within the player's handbook, where you can forego those completely and take a feat at level 4, which is fantastic. They do have feats in the game, so I'm hoping this is just the same mechanic, because oftentimes you actually get ability score increases depending on which feat you take, and they're typically much stronger than an increase of an ability score. First off, we've got the Thief. You hone your skills in the larcenous arts. Burglars, bandits, cut purses, and other criminals typically follow this archetype. But so do rogues, who prefer to think of themselves as professional treasure seekers, explorers, delvers, and investigators. In addition to improving your agility and stealth, you learn skills useful for delving into ancient ruins, reading unfamiliar languages, and using magic items you normally couldn't employ. So this is a pretty standard rogue archetype, right? This is the guy who's going to be stealing things and getting away with it as often as possible. At level 3, you obtain 2 new abilities, Fast Hands and Second Story Work. So Fast Hands will allow you to use your bonus action that's allowed by your Cunning action to instead make a sleight of hand check with your Thieves tools to disarm a trap, open a lock, or take the use object action. Is your friend stuck in combat with a bunch of goblins and you see a shiny, nice new treasure chest in one of their tents? Head over and pick that lock, will you? I'm sure they'll be fine. This opens up more utility for the rogue while in combat. That can be very situational, but also very useful, especially when it comes to disarming traps. Then we have the getaway, second story work. This will do two things for you, and I think they'll play a huge role in Baldur's Gate 3. First, you no longer suffer movement reduction while climbing, so you can scale buildings faster than everyone else. And second, when you make a running jump, you can add the number of feet equal to your dex modifier to the distance you cover, allowing you to jump from rooftop to rooftop, slicing and dicing. Or taking treasure. Probably just taking treasure. Laggy, why is there so much treasure on the roof? I don't know, ask Sven. Then with our next subclass, we have the Arcane Trickster. Some rogues enhance their fine-honed skills of stealth and agility with magic, learning in tricks of enchantment and illusion. These rogues include pickpockets and burglars, but also pranksters and mischief makers, and a significant number of adventurers. This is essentially the spell rogue. You can learn 3 cantrips, Mage Hand, and 2 others of your choice from the wizard spell list. Now, if you're not familiar with cantrips, once again, these are just low-level spells that you can cast without ever having to take a rest in between. You can just keep casting these. They're generally quite weak, but they're at the top of your mind at all times. You just remember how to use them so well that you can cast them on a regular basis. Also, you learn 3 first-level wizard spells. 2 of those have to come from the enchantment and illusion spells on the wizard spell list. So this is there to keep up the theme of deception and trickery. They do allow one of those, of course, to be whatever you want from the wizard spell list. And lastly, which I think is probably going to be used the most, you gain the Mage Hand Legerdemain. Now, your Mage Hand is flavored for a sketchy, underhanded rogue by allowing it 3 unique abilities. 1, you can put something from the hand inside a container that another creature has. 2, you can take something out of said container, bring it back to yourself. Or 3, you can use your Mage Hand to use thieves' tools to pick locks or disarm traps at range. So no more pesky traps, right? They'll blow up, they won't hurt you, they'll hit your Mage Hand, that's fine. Also, I can't wait to try pickpocketing people from far away. Or maybe even put something sort of live, explosive-y type, something like that in their pockets. I mean, does D&D have grenades? I don't think so, but hopefully we will here, right? We need some more D&D grenades. But that's the rogue, everybody. Tell me what you think. Let me know. I'm really excited to play, I gotta say. So I'm gonna repeat everything. Please follow me, Twitch, Twitter, hit the sub button here, hit the like button. Let's get people educated about the game so we have more friends to play with that don't shoot us and kill us constantly. Education is key when it comes to D&D. That unintentionally rhymed. But thank you, everybody. I really appreciate you watching the video here. And I will talk to you soon with our next one. Bye-bye.